All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be doing yet another comparison review, this time of two beers from the New England Brewing Company, and they're out of Woodbridge, Connecticut, and we have their Imperial Stout Trooper and their Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout Trooper, and both of these are the 2022 release. So the base beer is an Imperial Stout that comes in at 9.5% alcohol by volume and 40 IBUs, while the Bourbon Barrel Aged version is just this beer, aged in bourbon barrels. It also comes in at 9.5% alcohol by volume, but no IBUs listed. In time of review, the base beer is just over 8 months old, while the Bourbon Barrel Aged version is just under 8 months old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a couple of very good friends of mine and viewers of the channel, Steven and Rick, for both of these beers. In the description box, I'll post a link to the Beer Mail unboxing videos I did that contained both of these beers, and that's a mouthful. Done with the intro. But anyway, I think it was Steven who sent off the Bourbon Barrel Aged version. I think it was earlier this year in like late January, I believe. And then about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months later, Rick sent me the regular version. And then when I checked the canned on dates, they were actually canned within 13 days of one another. This was, I think, November 2nd. This was November 15th. So you're talking about two beers canned within 2 weeks of one another, and you got the base, you got the barrel aged version. Like, why wouldn't I do this? Now, I know these are usually long, so strap in. Most of these comparison reviews on my channel are like 15 to 20 minutes long. I'll try to, be a little bit quicker, but beers like this, they deserve longer reviews in my opinion. So anyway, let's start pouring. So I went with smaller glasses because, and I want to apologize to Steven and Rick for this, but I have put this off for a couple months because, to sit down and find time to drink two 9.5% beers in my current situation, not easy. So I finally decided I'm just going to do this. I'll probably sip on these over the next 2 or 3 hours. Probably feel pretty good, but I'm not trying to get, hammered. So I waited a little bit longer. These are not, super fresh or anything, but they should be fine based on the style. Now, I also want to say I've had the Imperial Stout Trooper once before back, and it was either 2013 or 2014. And it was really good. It was a bit thin, but the mouthfeel more than made up for it. It was like almost nitro-esque, the mouthfeel. It was fantastic. So we're not going to do the double pour because I don't want to mess it up. And I'm only going to pour a little bit of each, something like that, because I want to enjoy the rest of these. And at the end, we have to do the cuvee, or the cuvee, aka the cuvee. So I got to save a little bit, in case the cuvee is not that great. But yeah, so I had that back in 2013, 2014, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Tons of milk and dark chocolate. There was coffee. There was everything you kind of wanted out of an Imperial Stout. And back then, we got pretty good distro of New England stuff. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Now, not so much. So we'll give it this other one a pour here. We've got the Captain Lawrence glass. I don't use that all that often. So we'll try to do the same kind of pour for both of them. These are basically identical glasses. I think that should be fine. It only really matters for the cuvee, right? That's really what I care about anyway. So put the two cans over here facing the camera. And anyway, get a swirl on here since I already poured this. Get a swirl, and then we'll hold up the camera and see how they look. So how do these two beers look? Well, I can tell you right now, they look pretty similar. Now, I don't know if it's going to come off on camera. The Bourbon Barrel Aged head is a bit darker. It's like a dark brown, where this is more like a just straight on brown. Both of them are pitch black, maybe a dark brown at the base. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, at the base, it has almost like a dark brown vibe, but like in the glass, it looks black. It's going to look black to you guys, 100%. Like, there's no questions. That's going to look black to you guys, just how it looks. It has, the heads are dissipating on these, but it had about a half finger of a super creamy looking head, alcohol legs on both beers on the sides of the glass. Yeah, they look nice, honestly. They just look very, very nice as far as like an Imperial Stout goes. So let's get a nose on the base first. Yeah. There's a ton of like brown sugar, sweet milk and dark chocolate, and then there's fruity notes like darker stone fruits. A little bit of like fig, date, dark cherry, molasses. A little bit of a roasted malt character, not too big. Definitely a pretty big prominent like coffee roast, but like the malt itself does it. It's more of like a coffee. Slight umami vibes, very slight. This just honestly smells like a slightly aged American Imperial Stout, like nothing more, nothing less. Has pretty much everything I'm looking for. There's also like a smidge of a like an earthy kind of, it's going to have like a little bit of like an earthy bitterness, or maybe like a cocoa nib kind of bitterness thing. Oh yeah, that just smells like a well executed, 100% well executed American Imperial Stout. Let's go to the barrel version, see what's going on over here. Oh yeah, so completely different. The barrel has 100% infiltrated this beer big time. Oh. So the first time I just got like a big blast of like peppery bourbon, sweeter peppery, like caramel. I just went back and I got a little touch of like a toasted coconut, and I don't get it as much anymore in like barrel aged beers where like for many years I would get like the substantial kind of like toasted coconut barrel from a lot of beers, like a lot of Firestone Walker beers, Sukaba, Parabola, even Bourbon County some years provides that. I don't get it all that often. I'm getting it here just a little bit. Oh yeah, definitely toasted coconut. Everything this brings to the table, it's pretty much here, but the barrel's just blanketing that. But there's a lot of chocolate. Maybe the dark fruits aren't as popping as much. Maybe the roasted qualities from the coffee and the malt, not here really at all. But that milk and dark chocolate, molasses. Oh, so what's my preference between the two? It depends. You ask me what I have a preference for, like as we speak right now, what do I want to drink more? That. I'm kind of in the mood for a barrel-aged stout. It's been a little bit while since I've had one. And with that toasted coconut character, coconut's one of my favorite fruits. I love it in beer, and I'm getting that in spades. But I'm not going to deny that this smells extremely well done based on the style. I just want that one a little bit more. So yeah, I like what the barrel's done to the beer. It's kind of changed it up quite a bit. I wouldn't tell you exactly that is has anything to do with this beer. Like I wouldn't, outside of just the base being an Imperial Stout. Anyway, let's get into it now. I don't think I ever told you, but yeah, I did say this was from Steven, this was from Rick. So cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Rick. Oh man. So what I remember about this one, it has like a mild tomato bitterness, very dry in the back end, but what I love is up front, all that malt character, it comes in waves. But let's go body mouthfeel, because that's what we do on the channel. I have a kind of a formula I go with, and body mouthfeels at the forefront. It's a bit thin. This is like medium to higher side of medium body. It's definitely thin for 9.5. It drinks like something that's 8 maybe. The mouthfeel maybe not as spectacular as I remember, but it is lightly carbonated. So it's like mildly carbonated. It's not, flat. It just doesn't have a ton of carbonation, but it really enhances it because I like that soft, smooth, creamy kind of mouthfeel. Yeah, it just makes it vastly more drinkable and enjoyable to me. So mouthfeel is really good. The body's thin, but I remember it being thin. The taste, there's a lot of that sweet milk and dark chocolate right at the forefront. That's the first thing that hits my palate. Then I get more of a roasted malt and coffee roast, honestly. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more roasted malt and coffee in the taste. After that, though, there's a little bit of that molasses, touch of caramel. But those dark fruits are what's really singing here at just over 8 months old. Black cherry. Plum. Maybe a little bit of like a figgy date thing, but definitely black cherry and plum. So that's the first half of the palate. As it transitions into the finish, and on the second half, I get this nice earthy, drying, mildly bitter finish. And again, it's like almost like a cocoa nib kind of bitterness, or just like a dryness you would get maybe from like a, I don't know, it just has a nice dryness, like an earthy dryness. 9.5%. There's no booziness in my chest, on the palate. Hides it extremely well. Between the lack of the ABV as far as like astringency or just like getting the actual alcohol in the palate and the thin body, if someone told me this is like 7.5%, 8%, I'd be like, yeah, no, it kind of drinks like that, because the flavors are a little bit more boastful and bombastic, but the actual body and the alcohol, perceived alcohol, it doesn't say 9.5%. So is it as good as I remembered? I think I gave this like a 4.5, maybe 4.6. I don't think it's up to that level, but it's not far off. The key thing from stopping me from getting it like a exact, I'm probably going to give it I'm going to give it either a high 4.25 or low 4.5. The key thing here is the mouthfeel isn't as fantastic. The mouthfeel was just bonkers good last time I had this one. It was almost nitro-esque, where it was so soft, smooth, and creamy. I thought it was almost nitro-esque, but it wasn't. This mouthfeel is not to that level, but it's still really good. So anyway, let me cleanse the palate with my Cole's water bottle that has a hole in the thing so it makes noise. Gotta cleanse that palate though. So I'm really digging this one, just not as good as I remember it. Plus, this is 8 months old. I think when I had the other one, it may have been like 5 or 6 months. It wasn't super fresh because I kind of sat on it. I don't know. Anyway, let's get in this one. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Steven. I'm glad I said toasted coconut. I really am. Holy fuck, is that so good? I'm gonna drink you. I don't even want to do the fucking coffee. I don't want to do the coffee because this fucking... It has been so long since I've had that emphatic toasted coconut quality in a barrel-aged beer, and this has it in spades, and I'm fucking so excited. Anyway, I don't know why I'm whispering. ASMR. Sometimes I do that. Like when every once in a while, let's see how this went. No ASMR. No. Not gonna be cringy. My channel's cringy. So the body, it's thin. And because it's in a barrel, would you think it's a little bit thinner than this? It's really not. It's kind of that same like medium, higher side of medium. But it is thin. Here's the thing, the mouthfeel. This reminds me of what this used to be in terms of the velvety smooth, just like, I wouldn't say quite nitro, but like kind of in that realm where it's like, holy shit, I can't believe how silky smooth this is on the palate. It's almost fluffy, but like just silky, just slides down the palate. So the body a bit thin, mouthfeel fucking spectacular. Taste, it's toasted coconut. The barrel is providing such a huge toasted coconut. All around the palate, omnipresent toasted coconut. Then I get sweet, like milk and dark, but more to the dark side. So I'm almost reminded of like a Mounds bar, but like with real authentic toasted coconut as opposed to whatever coconut in a Mounds bar. It's fucking, I love that feeling. After that, it's not as roasty and toasty as this one is, so not a lot of roasted malt and coffee. I think it's died out. But the dark fruits are here, the plum, the cherry, again, not as pronounced because that toasted coconut and the chocolate is kind of what is taking over on the palate. Maybe a little bit of coffee, but not like a roasted coffee, just like kind of like a, I don't know. Has a little bit of like a coffee aftertaste. But anyway, second half of the palate, this finishes very dry. Like, no bitterness. While this has like a mild bitterness, this is almost, if there's any bitterness, it's a little bit like that oak tannin presence. Because I do get a little bit of barrel. There's a little bit of peppery bourbon, sweet caramel, spirit itself. But again, that toasted coconut is the predominant note from the barrel for me. A little bit of that like drying oak tannin, slight bitterness. But this is more bitter, but I think this is also more dry. I think this is sweeter as well. This is more like a decadent, rich beer, where this is just like a really well put together Imperial Stout. And I think you can probably tell this is my jam. Like, this is fucking dynamite without question. We close? All right, we close? Maybe a little bit more here. All right, let me rate them. So, because I got to get the thumbnail for Untapped. We're going to do something like this. We're going to give the Imperial Stout Trooper from the New England Brewing Company 2022 release. We're going to give this a, we're going to go high 4.25 and go 4.35. I think if the mouthfeel was kind of like what I remember, I'd get a 4.4. But this isn't as good as I remember, but I'm still giving it a 4.35. This is a very well put together Imperial Stout. When I talk about price and availability, you'll see why I would definitely buy this if I could get my hands on it regularly. This is just a really well put together American Imperial Stout, for lack of a better style. I think it's just referred to as Imperial Stout, but American Imperial Stout. It's not a Russian Imperial Stout. There's nothing going on with it other than it's brewed in America. It's Imperial Stout. So 4.35 out of 5 all day. This, on the other hand, and I like the logos too. It's just basically him with barrels as opposed to, and this used to have the Stormtrooper on it, and then they had to put the, what the hell is the name? Is it like Groucho Max glasses or whatever? Like the whole get up, right? He has to put that on there because I think he was going to get sued by George Lucas. And so they were like, yeah, we're not going to have that happen. But this is fantastic. This is 4.75 out of 5. This is the Bourbon Barrel Age Imperial Stout Trooper 2022. Yeah, this is a 4.75 all day. It's fucking phenomenal. Love that toasted coconut. And I think for me, it definitely is better than the base, and it would be something I seek out every year. I don't know if they do other variants of this, but I'd love to try other variants because the base beer is very good, but the barrel aged, my jam. Anyway, we're gonna do a little bit of a cuvee. Let me cleanse the palate. Can't go into a cuvee with the palate uncleansed. All right, so I luckily have like half of each can. I'm glad I'm not ruining this one, potentially. Maybe the cuvee will be awesome. Let's give it a pour. So we'll do it like that, and then we'll pour it back into the regular one, and we will be good with the cuvee. Can't waste any drops of these either, because both those guys were so nice to send them my way. I'm not wasting any beer. So that looks like a nitro head for sure. Now I've been swirling them and degassing them a little bit as I swirl, so carbonation is probably going to fall out a little bit, but that looks fucking better than both of those beers individually. Has a great, thick, like darker brown colored head. It looks nitro-esque, pitch black, the whole nine. Let's get a nose. Nice, but I think I like each of them individually a little bit better. Because I think I'm getting more of like the dark fruit and like the chocolate and whatnot, but the barrel's been kind of killed, and I'm really not getting any like roasted qualities at all. Doesn't smell bad, it's just each of them individually smell better. Let's get into it. Cheers again, and huge thanks to Stephen and Rick for both these beers. Without them, I couldn't do this, and I think this is pretty fucking cool. Cheers. Good, but underwhelming. This is substantially better. This is a little better. It kind of killed like a lot of the barrel characteristics from the bourbon barrel version, and like muted everything from this version. Now I'm left with, I will say this, the mouthfeel is still fucking spectacular. Soft, smooth, creamy, but it's still thin, and it's just kind of, it's more bland than the base beer is the best way. I would probably give this one more sip. I give this like a high 4. I go 4.1. So it's definitely substantial failure compared to the base and certainly the barrel-aged version. But still 4.1, still good, and I'll drink the rest of that. But I'm glad I saved half the cans of each, because I'm going to enjoy both of those quite a bit. So yeah, oh yeah, I don't think I talked about the ABV here either. Much like this, you can't really tell outside of the barrel being there, but like there's no, like, even as I'm drinking this mixture, there's no warming in my chest. There's nothing on the palate. It's crazy how well these hide the alcohol. And again, because of the thinness of the beers, like if you told me they're 8%, I'd be like, all right, and they're 9.5. So that's pretty impressive. So price point and availability on these. I think Rick told me these were $15.99. Now I don't know if that's a 4-pack or a 6-pack, but if it's a 4-pack, $4 for a can of that, yeah, fine. If it's a 6-pack, that's fucking insane. But $15.99, $16 a 4-pack or a 6-pack, like sign me up all day, every day. I'd imagine the barrel-aged version is a little bit more pricey. I'd probably imagine, $20 for a 4-pack of that. I think they come in 4-packs. If they sell these in 6-packs, it's a little bit dangerous. But yeah, I think both of them are worth it for the quality of the beers and availability. Is New England Brewing Company. If you see their stuff, you should see them probably at some point. We're starting to get distro their stuff. I've seen some of the beers that Rick sent my way from New England that I reviewed, like Fuzzy Baby Ducks. I think G-Bot showed up, Sea Hag. So I don't know if whenever they release these, if we'll see them, but if so, I'm definitely picking at least one of each up. I might pick a couple of these up, and yeah, I think you should, if you can get New England stuff, try this beer out if you've never had it, the bourbon barrel-aged version, because whew, toasted coconut for days. So once again, huge thanks to Stephen and Rick for making this happen. This is, I think, the third comparison review I've done of beers that Rick sent my way. I did one from New England was the G-Bot. I did a relatively fresh one, and then an aged one. And I also did from New Park their Cloudscape, and was it their Double Cloud? Whatever the double IPA version of it was. So I always love doing comparison reviews. But the problem is, and this is probably like 18, 20 minutes long, is they're longer, and a lot of people don't watch them to the end. So here's for me, if you watch this to the end, we've done the cuvee, we've talked about price point availability, I'm talking about, thanking Stephen and Rick for this, and talking about the other. If you make it to the end, put in the comment section, toasted coconut, and that's it. That's it. I want to just toasted coconut, exclamation mark, toasted coconut, question mark, whatever. Toasted, just put toasted coconut in the comment section. And then I'll know if you watch this. And if I get like 1 or 2 comments with it, then I know a lot of people don't watch it in the end. But honestly, YouTube tells me that anyway. But at the end of the day, beers like this, you do a comparison. People are nice enough to send them. I know people click off the reviews or just fast forward, and that's cool. I do that sometimes too when I watch YouTube in general, so I get it. But again, huge thanks to Steven and Rick for both of these beers. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. If you've had either of these beers, any vintage, any release, whatever, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about them. It's a shame this wasn't as good as I remember. It's still pretty good, but I'm super happy that this kind of blew me away and that toasted coconut was prevalent. So yeah, anyway, gonna shut it down. Be on the lookout for more reviews in the future. I know a lot of people like when I do comparison reviews. Some people recently have told me that I should do Mexican lagers. I should do like a comparison. I was actually thinking about doing like a NCAA tournament like Mexican lager, kind of maybe like the Elite 8, like get 8 Mexican lagers, do a bracket, have you guys vote on it, and then maybe like once a week or like twice a week do a side-by-side of 2 Mexican lagers, and the winner advances to the next round. I would love to do it blind, probably not feasible unless somebody wants to send me all the Mexican lagers I want to do, but I think that would be a lot of fun, and maybe I'll do it with other styles down the road. Let me know if that sounds interesting. Again, I highly doubt people have watched the end, but if you do, post in the comment section, let me know. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.